Thank you, Raji, and good morning, everyone. My name's Rocco Galati. I'm sitting with Tanya Gaw, founder of Action for Canada. On August 16th of this year, we presented a comprehensive statement of claim in British Columbia, which in British Columbia is referred to as a notice of civil liability, spanning about 386 pages, challenging the various COVID measures in the province of British Columbia. The statement of claim was returned to us by the court with a file number 2 days ago, and it's date stamped on August 17th. So anybody looking at that who might be confused, because once they issued the claim, they issued it the day after it was presented to them, which was the 16th. The statement of claim has 20 plaintiffs, Action for Canada, and 19 other private plaintiffs seeking constitutional relief and monetary damages for the damages caused to them because of the oppressive, unlawful, criminal, and unconstitutional measures implemented in that province through the government and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry. The statement of claim canvasses the history of COVID, the scientific and medical evidence, the law, and the constitutional rights that are violently and depravingly being violated against every citizen of that province, and in fact every citizen in Canada. The measures are not only oppressive and devastating, they are unscientific, non-medical, illegal, criminal, and unconstitutional. They have had the effect, intentional or unintentional, of setting up a police state dictatorial regime with a singular aim and obsession with vaccination, regardless of whether that vaccination program is illogical, which it is. Furthermore, the measures are clearly, it's not even in dispute anymore by any person who's not in a coma, that the measures are killing more people than the purported COVID deaths are. This is not a public health agenda we're witnessing in our country, or around the world for that matter. It is a political, socioeconomic control agenda. And all the facts to support this proposition are set out in the statement of claim. We're going to take the BC and Trudeau government to task through this claim. Although the Prime Minister talks a lot of nonsense, his jurisdiction over the COVID measures is very limited, and it's limited to quarantine. You know, while he used the threat of federal vaccine passports as a political vote getter, he has no jurisdiction as a federal government. The federal government has no jurisdiction whatsoever under the Constitution to enforce any medical treatment. That's provincial jurisdiction, and he knows it. Because if he did, he could have put in the law before the election, and it would have been challenged. So we're going to take him to task, and the first item on the agenda, once we serve the Government of Canada and Government of BC, is that we're already preparing an application to stay the vaccine passports announced and implemented, which are being implemented by Dr. Bonnie Henry. If you think about it conceptually, and actually what the vaccine passports do is, in a very sublime and dictatorial way, is they encompass everything that's wrong with these measures. They are a vicious tool to enforce vaccinations, despite the fact that the Supreme Court of Canada has clearly ruled in many cases that no medical treatment or procedure can be applied without the informed, voluntary consent of that individual. The Supreme Court of Canada has declared that to be a right under Section 7 of the Charter. So they're using these vaccine passports to exclude people from living their lives unless they are forcefully given medical treatment they do not want voluntarily. This only happens in a police state. This only happens in a tyrannical dictatorship. And the other thing, and so these provisions, the idea of a vaccine passport breaches as a tool of oppression, sections 2 and 7 of the Charter. What the other thing that's even more dangerous that the idea of a vaccine passport does is it divides fellow Canadians. And so it discriminates under section 15 of the Charter based on medical condition. So if you don't want to take this vaccine because you've calculated the risks and you choose not to take it, you're in a class of people now that's being discriminated from social society and from your basic rights. And so it divides Canadians, and you don't need a rocket scientist or sociologist or history PhD to know that this kind of division that becomes increasingly hostile to the level of violence. It is inviting hostility and violence between one class of Canadians against another class of Canadians. And this is not what the Supreme Court of Canada has determined is good governance. The governments are under constitutional duty to engage in good governance. This is depraved. This is illegal. This is criminal. It's unconstitutional. And it's nonsensical. They tell you that a vaccinated person can infect another vaccinated person. So scientifically and logically, what is the purpose in that context of having a vaccine passport? You're going to exempt vaccinated people from having to have a vaccine passport to do the things that unvaccinated people cannot do. But they can spread and receive the COVID vaccine from other vaccinated people. So you can see very clearly that this is not a medical or health agenda. This is a political one. They want everybody vaccinated for whatever reason. And up to now, there's never been a problem with people exercising their choice.